as I said before, you are the solo artist on this project, and what you come up with may be fine. When we start putting it to music, even small pieces at a time is a good exercise, and that is what we will do here. In a way, we're not necessarily going for a song. We could be going for a comedy, a musical comedy. So, the time has now come for us to start putting our words onto the musical system. The time signature at the beginning of the musical system tells us how many beats are in each group, in each bar, as they're called, or measure. And the number at the top indicates the number of beats. The number at the bottom indicates the relative duration of each beat. And the number 4 indicates a quarter beat, a quarter note. Now, this is the American system. In the British system, a quarter note is called a crotchet. And we, in the last lesson, subdivided our quarter notes into eighth notes. And the British system, an eighth note is called a quaver. And we also subdivided it again, and that in the British system is called a semiquaver. But I prefer the American system. It's more mathematical. So an eighth note, half an eighth note is a 16th, and half a 16th would be a 32nd, but you know, we won't go that fast. And then if we go the other way, a duration of 2 quarter notes is a half note, which in the British system is called a minim, and then the duration of 4 quarter notes, a whole note, in the British system is called a breve. But we're going to stick to the American system. Okay? What the time signature doesn't tell us is the tempo, the speed at which our beats are moving. So earlier we were using this tempo, which is 74 quarter notes to the minute. This would be indicated this way on our musical system. As you can see at the top, a little stick with a blob, a quarter note equals 74. So that means 74 quarter notes to the minute, and that is the speed. So I think we're almost ready to go now to put our words onto the music. Now, the first beat in each bar is emphasized, and that is important because, as we explained when we looked at our words and broke them down into syllables, we have stresses inside our phrases and stresses inside our words. And in order for the language to sound natural, we need to use those emphasized beats, the emphasized parts of the music, to put our stressed syllables on. So let me give an example. Okay, so let's go and put some words onto the music. So as you see here, I'm grouping my beats into 4. And so you can see the first group of 4 quarter notes, then a vertical line, and then another group of 4 quarter notes. And we're going to start by putting some words onto those rhythmic events. What you see up there, if we're using 74 quarter notes to the minute, see? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. The strong first beat is the strongest, has the strongest emphasis. The third beat has a weaker emphasis, but is nevertheless emphasized. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to put some words onto there. If I don't subdivide those beats into downbeat and upbeat, it's going to go very slow, because as I said, we put a syllable per rhythmic event, and there we have 8 rhythmic events. So if we did that, we would have suddenly a crash as the washing line gives out. Very slow, isn't it? So I'm going to break them down into eighth notes. Okay, those are quarter notes, and I'm going to break them down into eighth notes, and we'll try and do it first with the eighth note. So this means that it's going to seem to go twice as fast. We will have 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3, 4. Suddenly a crash as the washing line gives out. Now you noticed that did not sound natural, like natural speech, did it? And as I said earlier, we are going to put the emphasized syllable on a strong beat. And we said earlier that in that line we have sud, crash, wash, out as the emphasized, as the stresses in the sentence. So we're going to put sud on the 1, crash on the 3, on the first half of the third beat, wash on the first half of the first beat in the next group of 4, and out on the first half of the third beat in the second group. Very, very complicated, isn't it? But if you look at it on the music, and so we'll get sud, crash, wash, out. You feel that's a bit more natural. So suddenly crash as the washing line gives out. Right? That sounds more like natural speech, doesn't it? So this is what it looks like now. Now, another thing that we must come to is giving a space for breathing. Remember, I said that way back in lesson 2, I think it was, that we need to give space for breathing. This is all about singing. So what we're going to do is we're going to sacrifice a few rhythmic events and leave a space there. Leave a silence. And this is indicated in a different way according to the length of the silence. So up here you can see, after the word crash, a little symbol looks like a little number 7. That symbol replaces an eighth note, and that is called an eighth note rest. And that is where you can take a quick breath. So suddenly crash as suddenly crash as the washing line gives out. And then you'll see in the second bar, after out, I've left another space for breathing. But I've this time left a quarter note space. And the symbol for a quarter note rest is that squiggly thing. Okay? So the first one is an eighth notes rest. The second one is a quarter notes rest. And you'll see as we go along we may need to put in larger rests, but we definitely need to leave space for breathing.